Joining us now from House Oversight, Congresswoman Nancy Mace. The Congresswoman has bravely stood up for women's rights and is a sexual assault survivor. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on this story. Why are the Democrats normalizing violence against women? Is this the Democrat left's version of a typical, quote, Maryland man?
This is the Democrat Party now. First, they abandoned women's sports, and now they're abandoning women who have survived and endured and are victims of domestic abuse and domestic violence. And they're standing up for someone who traffics people across our border illegally, and an MS-13 gang member. And I have to tell you, hearing her voice for the first time talking about the physical abuse that she endured, it's very difficult for me as a woman, and as a mom, and as a daughter to hear another woman talk about the what she endured at his hands. And then you have the Democrats, they've abandoned women. They don't support women, and they're going down to El Salvador in large numbers trying to rescue this guy out of there, and bring him back to the United States. It doesn't make sense. They are sinking like the Titanic, and they're on a very fast track, a roller coaster to zero approval rating if they keep this up. Congresswoman,
so when you listen to Abrego Garcia's wife now, and she's claiming what she was saying, she's blaming the abuse on Garcia's time in ICE detention and on things like the pandemic, saying, yeah, they've gone through counseling and faith and they're healed. She sounds like somebody, and we've talked to abuse survivors. She sounds now again like an abuse survivor, like she's scared.
Well, women who are abused, and I've been through it myself, I've talked about it a lot, but we are gaslit by our abusers. And sometimes we end up blaming ourselves for the abuse that we've endured, even though it had nothing to do with what we were wearing or what we were saying or who we were. But it is very typical for women to excuse the abuse in order to keep the peace and just, quite honestly, to stay alive, Liz. That's what we do.
Stay alive. But now we've got Democrat Senator Van Hollen announcing a new Democrat push to sanction El Salvador and its president, and they're urging Americans not to visit El Salvador, despite the mounting evidence of who Abrego Garcia really is. Let's please get your reaction to this. Watch.
Stay tuned, because Senator Kaine and I, along with Senator Schumer and others, are planning to also introduce sanctions legislation targeting President Bukele and all those who are part of his government conspiring with Donald Trump to deprive residents of the United States of their constitutional rights. Don't go to El Salvador as tourists, so long as the government of El Salvador is violating the constitutional rights of people who reside in America.
Okay, they got the Maryland Dad hoax. That's what's being called. This is likely a go-nowhere package of sanctions the president will likely veto. We should point out the Wall Street Journal did report on a case of a Venezuelan man wrongfully sent to El Salvador, but the government could try to, fight to get those people back, right? So what do you make of all of what you just heard?
Well, I certainly wouldn't be taking any advice from Van Hollen or Senator Kaine or Senator Schumer at this point, this juncture. What they are doing, turning their backs on the American people and standing up for MS-13, standing up for wife beaters is not something that the American people believe in. And quite frankly, this guy has no constitutional rights. He's an MS-13 gang member. He came here illegally. He should not have any due process, any constitutional rights. He should be deported. Him and everyone like him should be deported immediately out of this country. We can't do it fast enough.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace, thank you for your time with us, and thanks for standing up for women. It's great to have you on.